Welcome back to Bahrain and the Qatar Grand Prix. My name is Jamie and it is a one-shot qualifying then. So, very important breaking zone coming up then as we head down towards turn 1. Down to the gears we go in towards turn 1 there, as it's very important now to get the exit right through turn 2 and turn 3 using the lock curve on the inside as the DRS is enabled for the second DRS zone. On board with Henry, the man that won in the back of Grand Prix last week as he takes turn 4 very nicely indeed, using the runoff area there too, as we flick our way through the right-hander of turn 6 through the left-hander turn 7. Didn't really hook it up there as we now head down towards the braking zone, in towards turn 8. This slow right-hander we go. Late apex through there as he gets back to the throttle as well. Also important to get traction right as we come now towards turn 9 and in turn 10. Double left-hander locks up, takes a lot of curve on the entry there as we can see a lot of drivers flicking through positions there as Sweet Crown has already retired, but it's Bob Pierre leading ahead of Glowstick, but Kenny is also in the mix as well as he took pole. As we head through turn, oh, he spins the car, does the Haas, and he's in the wall. So that's his qualifying and done and dusted then as we flick on board with somebody else there. As we go on board with Bob then, who is first in the Red Bull as Henry has retired. As we see Bob exiting turn 13, as here comes the Red Bull driver, the man that won the first race of the season at the Austrian Grand Prix, defending from Sieb and Henry. Here he is out of the final couple of corners, a bit twitch at the exit there. But Bob then is going to make it on pole. He sets a 126.9, 3 tenths clear of Sahilo in P2. I completely forgot it was a one-shot qualifying there, so my bad. I was about to do the introduction as normal, but it was a one-shot qualifying, and it was Bob Pierre who took pole around here. So, Bob Pierre's on pole ahead of Sahilo. Kenny, he started P3 in Season 12, in the last season, in Season number 11, I think it was. And Leroy's the P4 who makes his turn after a long period away. Dead Days P5 ahead of Leon, Nathan P7 ahead of Glowstick, Dory in P9 who returns as well, nice to see him back. AJ P10 ahead of Hobbsy, Jeroen in P12 ahead of 3-4Ps, Henry and Sweetcon and Jeroen Rizza then. There are your classifications, as 3 of them haven't got a lot of time. But the 3 who are very handy drivers indeed, Henry, Sweetcrown and Jeroen Rizza, that should be a very interesting link up there at the back of the field then to make their way through back. But after the Baku Grand Prix, it was a normal race in Baku because it was a normal one-stop strategy. No, nothing very important to note there because I think the Austrian Grand Prix was a 2-stop, but in Baku was just a normal race. Here at round 3, it is Bahrain and the Qatar Grand Prix. So we've got 2 races and they're both 35%, I believe it is. One-shot qualified for both of them, as they're both currently located in the Middle East, Bahrain and Qatar. Bahrain, of course, was the first race of the season. I think started back in 2021 after Austria was the first race of the season that year. And Australia now is the first race of the season, so it's back to its normal position. I like Australia as the first race of the season because it's just normal and better, really. And the atmosphere is really good as well. Plus, this year's race in Australia was the best one so far out of the lot, with the mixed conditions and a lot of drivers find the conditions very tricky indeed, including a few people like Isaac Hadjar and a few rookies like Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoletto, Liam Lawson, and I think it was Fernando Alonso as well, who crashed in the wall. Carlos Sainz, I think, did hit the wall as well in the final corner. But what a fantastic race that was, with Verstappen hunting down Lando Norris towards the last stage of the Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri got off the track as well. But here in Bahrain, it's also a very decent track for overtaking. Of course, first introduced the first ever Middle East race in 2004. And he has produced some good races in the past as well. And it turned into a night race. It looks better at night, doesn't it? With the floodlights illuminating the track and the action going on as well. But became the first night race in 2014. The duel in the desert between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg on that day as well. Hamilton versus Rosberg, when that Mercedes was so dominant, they just pulled away no matter what. Safety car came out because I think Pastor Maldonado and Esteban Gutierrez crashed in towards turn 1. And therefore the safety car had to come out on that day as well. But we're just waiting for the drivers to ready up and hopefully we can get going. Not quite sure what the hold-up is here, but we should get going very, very shortly indeed then. So, just waiting for the confirmation. No Rob here tonight, it's just me, but there is the formation lap as we get underway for the formation lap then. And let's see what the tyre strategy is around here in Bahrain. Usually hards to mediums or mediums to hards, but it is a shorter race distance. It's a 20% race, but all 3 tyre compounds are being introduced in this race. And the soft, the medium, and the hard compound tyres, but which strategy is the better? 3 people on them soft compound tyres. Sahilo is one of them in the Mercedes. Leon in the Aston Martin as well is the other one. And Nathan JB is also on the soft compound tyres. A few people spread out on the mediums and the hards. Bumpy on the medium compound tyres, so he may be jumped by Sahilo down in towards turn number 1. When the lights go out, then the extra grip, the beneficial of those soft compound tyres will work in his favour. But Kenny then qualified P3, and if you remember all that time ago, season 11 when it started, or the end of season 10, the Bahrain Grand Prix was the last race of the season, and it was a fantastic race because Nathan JB was involved. I think it was Sweet Crown and Pease. Pease was the one that went on to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's not the first time he's won around here either. Is Pease. He's won around in Bahrain, I think, back in what was it, season 6, I believe it was. But yeah, he's had a few victories. Has Pease around here. Looks very strong around this track. Does Total Pease. So hopefully he has a good run here. But unfortunately, he starts at the P14 then in the Red Bull. So not ideal for him. But we'll see how he does down there. It was Jeroen, Walter and Pease all go for the win. Same with Nathan as well. But Nathan pitted quite early to do the undercut. But I think the guys behind caught up quite quickly as well. And the safety car came out as well. I'm not quite sure what the reason that was for. But I remember season, when was this? I think it was a long time ago, like season 7 or something like that. Cameron Dowes, Tage Leroy and his ILTC go for the victory as well. But the 17 drivers make their way on the track, and we're about to have the lights go out then for the round 3 of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's see what happens going down in towards turn number 1 we go. I presume Sahilu could take the lead of the Grand Prix, but we're just awaiting then the lights to go out as a few people are parked out of place. Pole to turn 1 is 353 meters. It's a long way down in towards turn number 1. Let's see what happens. The lights on the paddles. We're about to get racing here in Bahrain. The lights go out. It is foot to the floor. And let's see who gets a better start. I think Bob Pig gets a slightly better start. But there's a Mercedes in the background who's spun. That is Dory who's gone for a spin. But down the inside goes the Hilo of Bob Pig as we head down towards turn 1. Almost 4 abreast between the Aston Martin, Saab McLaren and the Williams. But somehow they get out unscathed. Here comes Nathan around the outside as the Williams goes off the track. That's then Dave in the background who lost traction and unfortunately goes backwards. But here we go 2 by 2. The Aston Martin Leon puts himself into P3 ahead of ILT Leroy as we see Kenny in P5 as well fighting with Nathan JB. Nathan JB hasn't really capitalised yet on them soft compound tyres as we head down towards the braking zone. In towards 8 we go as we see Leroy defending from Kenny and Nathan touch, and unfortunately they make it unscathed, so they keep going, pointing in the right direction there, but it's so close between those two as Glowstick now puts the Finnish driver under massive pressure. Kenny under massive pressure from Glowstick right behind the Div 2 commentator, and let's see what happens going down in towards turn number 10 we go. 2 Hassers in the background go side by side. That's Freefall and Henry as we see Henry then up the inside of Freefall after a struggle in qualifying. Freefall seems to be a bit wobbly out of turn 11 and he's under pressure from Jeroen Visser. Sweet Crown is up into P11 already, but he goes off the circuit in turn 13, so it may result in the validation. But Sahilu leads the Grand Prix and he hasn't really pulled away from ILT Bobby there as we've got Jeroen Visser up the inside of Freefall. Kenny spun in the final corner where I think Kyle Scout has spun as well all the seasons ago in qualifying. But as we head down towards turn 1, Bob Pierre close on the back of Sahilu there. Sahilu is not able to break away from the DRS there, and that's going to be quite painful as well because he's off the track. Glowstick and Pease in towards turn 1. Pease rejoins in the P8 as Glowstick still off the track there in the background. He rejoins in P10 then as those two had a bit of coming together there as they get back on the circuit. DRS is enabled. We've got Jeroen on Henry down towards turn 4 as Jeroen up the inside, but it's Henry looking for a switch back with a better exit. He is not, as Leroy has dropped down the order and he spins or goes for a half spin where Lewis Hamilton crashed, I think, back in 2007 in the war there. Do you know what? We haven't really seen many people actually crash there in the past recently either. That used to be a common place to crash all those years ago. But Jeroen and Pease going side by side out of the braking zone. Jeroen goes backwards and he's down in another place as well as Sweet Crown moves up the order up into P8. So great recovery drive from Pease and Sweet Crown. They are quite strong. They've shared a few podiums on the track. Has Sweet Crown and Pease then, so they're no strangers to the podium at all. We did see a lightning battle between those guys, I think, at the end of season 10. But ILT Leon on them soft compound tyres looking very capable right behind Bob Pierre. Last week's race winner, here he is, Leon, when he jumped his own teammate of Sieb DRS wide open for both of them as Bob Pierre is clipping down the straight. Is he clipping or is he derating or is he trying to save the battery? Ready for attack later on the Grand Prix as he lets Leon go. He knows he's on the medium compound tyres, of course, so hasn't really put up too much of a fight there as Den Dave and Giroud and we go for a multiple car scrap in towards turn 1. That's Giroud dropping 2 places backwards and he's lost the place towards Henry and Den Dave, who puts himself into P11. But can he put the pressure on immediately on the Williams in front of him and the Haas as well as we go down towards turn 4? Quite a lot of people stuck behind AJ Wuhan. AJ Wuhan now has been detached from the DRS train in front as Nathan is 1.7 seconds away from ILT Bonpier there in the Red Bull as we head down towards turn 8, the slow speed corner. We've seen a few overtakes there in the past as well. We saw Danny Kvyat. Oh, Danny inside goes to Red Bull, but he spins the car as he drifts to the corner. And that is a 10-second penalty as his race has been well and truly dented, unfortunately. Huge blunder as the Kickstarter goes defensive, making Speed Crown go around the outside. In towards 10, here we go. Danny inside goes to McLaren on the Red Bull. The Red Bull goes off the track and through goes the Alpine. That is glow stick. But can't make the move on the McLaren driver. Jeroen stays ahead for the time being then. Back on board with these guys, the top 3 ever so close. Nathan just dropping backwards there, not able to catch up because the top 3 have been left alone to scrap it out. So Hilo is the championship leader, but he's got Leo right behind him, now ahead of him as he puts himself into first place there ahead of the Mercedes. The Ferrari following the same line as the Aston Martin because that is the esports way to go, I think. In towards the first few corners we go, in towards the braking zone we go as we've got Leroy right behind Speed Car, followed by Jeroen as we head down towards turn number 1. But the McLaren has lost its wing. Just the merest of touches there, unfortunately, has sustained end plate damage, and that is going to be a painful race here on in, as the Williams in the background is attempts to move on the Red Bull. That's then Dave. Oh, he hits the back of the Alpine, and he hits the Red Bull too, as Pease does the Max Verstappen and retires from the race. And that is a safety car, unfortunately. So, who does this benefit? The soft compound tires, I dare say, this benefits, but Pease just went straight on, like Verstappen did in 2020 when Lawrence Shorten went to Perez and Charles Leclerc made contact in towards turn 4. The same race where Russell made his debut for Mercedes. Pease, of course, just went straight on in towards turn number 4. I think he had enough with the amount of contact that was made, and he is out of the race. The safety car has been deployed. There is 3 runners on the soft compound tyres, so maybe the advantage has swung towards their way as they could go on the hard compound tyres, which you do. I'm not quite sure about this 35% race if it is definitely a one-stop for sure, but what tyres are they going to go for? Is the hards make it more durable towards the end for those guys on the soft compound tyres? I wonder if the hard runners or the medium runners might just stay out there. Let's see then, as the top 3 gamble in the pit lane. Of course, the medium runners too can go to hard compound tyres. I think hards are possibly the way to go. Yes, we got the hard compound tyres attached to the Red Bull, but of course Bob Pierre can't do medium because obviously you need to use more than 1 tyre compound. But we've got every single driver then diving in the pit lane except 2. 2 go past the commentary box, and who is those 2? That is Jeroen Visser and Freefall. They're taking the track position. And yeah, let's see then how it pays in their favours. But they pay dividends later on in the Grand Prix. I'm not quite sure if it will or not because they don't have a lot of time though. It is a short race, of course. But all the drivers then feeding back on the track, and the Sauber in the background hops you there, almost bottling it in the final corner. I do like this track. It's a really good track indeed. Maybe it can be a bit boring at the same time, because obviously with the cars, the width of the cars and the track temperature, etc. Of course, it is in the jungle. Sorry, the jungle. It's in the desert, of course. So it is quite hot. The temperatures are roaring through. We've seen quite a lot of good battles around here in the past as well. The main ones, of course, Rosberg and Hamilton. And so we saw that 2018 battle between Bottas and Vettel, when I think Vettel had to do a one-stop strategy because I think Kimi Raikkonen got released too early and the Ferrari mechanic broke his leg. So for Sebastian Vettel had to extend his tyre life and take him towards the end of the Grand Prix. Don't know how he did it. Bottas, though, I dare say if he was more aggressive, like Hamilton, I think Bottas would have won the race, but Bottas, we know that he's not really an aggressive driver that much to say so. He's got like a smooth driver style, so if that was anybody else behind, he would have gone for the win. But Sebastian Vettel, well-deserved win after trying to make it to the end on those yellow striped tyres. I think that was the soft compound tyres, as it was called back then, the medium striped tyre, I'm not quite sure. But it was confusing in the past because now, soft, medium, hard, of course we know what the tyres are. Soft, the red stripe tyre, medium, the yellow stripe, the hard is the white stripe tyre. As, of course, we used to have like 6 different tyre sets, didn't we? We had hyper soft, ultra soft, super soft, medium, hard, and super hard. And the super hard compound tyres, I remember being used by Nico Hulkenberg, I think, in the Renault, in the Silverstone Grand Prix 2018. That tyre was barely used. As in the pit lane are 2 drivers. That is Den Dave and Dory. Now, Den Dave did pick up damage. I wonder if he forgot to change his wing. Let's have a look. No, it's a scheduled stop. That is on the medium compound tyres then. So feeling like maybe he did medium hard. So he wants to go back on the medium compound tyres, take towards the end. Maybe with Dory too. So I wonder if those 2 started on the medium compound tyres and they're back on a new set. Because you do get 2 sets. Yeah, so what? Let's have a look. Yeah, medium, hard, medium, and Dory, hard, medium, medium. That's very strange for Dory there in 60th place because he's already done his one mandatory stop on a brand new set of tyres, a different tyre allocation, but maybe he wants the best tyres towards the end to go with the medium compound tyres. And then Dave, smart strategy, medium, hard, medium. But he's down in 50th place. Although the safety cars helped him because we see him have front wing damage, and also Kenny as well in 40th place. And Diddy, good evening, mate. I did watch the race in Division 2. You were leading, and you were on the soft compound tyres as well. So if we've got a few people that started the soft compound tyres, well, good evening, Diddy. Hopefully, mate, we mean you get to commentate one day, but unfortunately you are on PC, so it makes some things a bit complicated indeed. But yeah. It's nice to see you here, as always, mate. And you did finish in 2nd place, didn't you, at the Baku Grand Prix? I didn't watch the whole race, unfortunately. I didn't have time to, but yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't really watch the whole race. So Sweet Crown is a bit annoyed with a glow stick. So let's see then what happened. Maybe that moment is towards turn 1 and turn 2 between glow stick and Peas. That's the issue he was talking about. So maybe that could have been the reason why Sweet Crown is a bit annoyed and peeved off with that one. But now, Henry and Sweet Crown on the mini compound tyres. Let's see how this second phase of this race goes now. With people in different places, different tyre strategies than originally planned. And let's see what happens then. With 14 laps left to go, Jeroen Visser is the race leader ahead of Freefall. Jeroen Visser's last win, I believe it was. Was it the Japanese Grand Prix a few seasons ago? I'm not quite sure, but it was quite a while ago. Jeroen, of course, I think he's the 3rd highest race winner in total in Division 1. We get racing, underway we go, and free fall under massive pressure as we head down towards turn 1. Look at all these guys going on the right hand side there, following the esports ladder as we head down towards turn 1. Any moves being made so far? There's a Ferrari over the inside. Is that Nathan JB? Nope, he's a bit too far back. The Haas and the Sauber going side by side through turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. But Jeroen has fallen down the order. Here we go. I think he had a bit of a spin, did he, out of turn 4. But here comes free fall on Leon as we head down towards turn 4. We go. Oh, free fall makes contact and more contact, and he's fallen down the order there. That's Hilu tapping the back of Freefall, who was already in a half spin, and unfortunately got sent into another one as well. And you know, Nathan's right behind Jeroen. He wants to get past his teammate, but it's damage again for the second week in a row. Nathan JB has lost his end plate, and he'll be absolutely furious with the back of Jeroen there. And once again, he sustains damage, and that's going to be a huge dent to performance in his race. As we've got Leon then in lead ahead of Bob Pierre. They're both on the same tyre compounds because Bob Pierre and Leon were on the soft and the medium. As then Dave gets past the other Jeroen in P13. As we follow through suits now in towards turn 11 and turn 12, the high-speed corner where people in the past used to spin, but thankfully not anymore. Because if you touch the inside curve on the older games, you did go for a spin. It used to be a very lethal curve that did. And a lot of people avoid it now, but I think you can take it now through flat out actually, as then Dave does get past Glow Stick as he puts himself into P11. But Bob Pierre is right behind Leon as DRS is enabled once again then, as we see the top two go in battle. with the Red Bull away for the DRS as we head down towards turn 1. There's a Ferrari on the inside of his own teammate there. Charles Leclerc versus Carlos Sainz like in 2024 it was, but Jeroen Visser stays ahead of Nathan JB for the time being. And now Mercedes on the RB goes off the track as we head down towards turn 4 we go. 3 abreast in the back on the Alpine in the middle as we head down towards turn 4. The Alpine sandwich, but the RB goes around the outside. The Haas there up into P7 as Jeroen Visser goes off the track. And now no immediate pressure from Sweetcar up into 5th. Henry in 6th place there. Both progressing very nicely, but Sweetcar gets forced out wide. And unfortunately for Sweetcar, his race has ended prematurely. Nathan JB there. What on earth happened between him and Sweetcar? And then Dave attempts to move on the outside, but can he get the switch back on the kick-saber? On those mini compound tires, we're about to find out now as he swaps left and right. Which way will he go? Will he go around the outside? There's an Alpine who spun out of turn 10 there. That is close to it. You can see that Jeroen Visser is struggling on the older hard compound tyres with people around him on fresher tyres. If we head through turn 11 and turn 12 and turn 13, then Dave is not able to make a move just yet, but with the DRS wide open, maybe has a chance down the straight. Henry's right behind Nathan then, as we head towards the final corner we go. Here comes Henry up the inside. Will he outbrake himself? No, he won't. He makes the corner, but the Ferraris are in hot pursuit of each other once again, as Sahilu is outside the DRS range. Bonpierre versus Leon, as here comes Bonpierre for the lead of the Grand Prix, headed down towards turn number 1 here. Takes the lead before the first corner, as the two Ferraris once again go side by side in towards the first corner, and Jeroen Visser is up the inside of Henry through turn 1, through turn 2 and 3, but Henry just stays ahead of Jeroen Visser as Sweetcar has retired in the pit lane. Once again, Leon takes the lead of the Grand Prix as the Haas defends as much as he can. Here comes the Alpine around the outside in towards turn 4. Down the inside goes the Williams there on the Sauber as the Williams just gets ahead. In the background as McLaren and the kick Sauber go side by side. Kenny is unfortunately suffering a terrible race around here after dropping a few places, spinning in the final corner, as Nathan JB then just stays ahead of AJ Wuhan for the time being as we file through towards turn 9 and turn 10 we go. So, a lot of battles, a lot of moments during this Grand Prix, but remember, these guys cannot retire or leave the session, shall I say, because there is still one more race to go, which is the Qatar Grand Prix. So Qatar is coming next, and I think a few people do like the circuit. If you're on a wheel or pad, well, I like Qatar. It's not really a bad circuit, but in terms of like real life performance, P's of the session there, so completely contradicted what I said. That's counterintuitive for P's. Hopefully he gets back in the session before this race ends, because we need him for the Qatar Grand Prix. I'm not quite sure if he's strong now or not, but here we go towards the final corner. Can Sahilu somehow get in DRS range of Bonpierre and Leon? What Sahilu needs is that Bonpierre and Leon, the two of them need to fight to allow Sahilu to be DRS range. But the problem is though, Sahilu's got Henry right behind as well. Maybe Sahilu might let Henry through. Swap DRS, Henry with those mini compound tyres, catch up as AJ Wuhan then overtakes his brother for 6th place. Let's go wheel to wheel towards turn 1 and turn 2. His brother's not giving up just yet. There's enough room there, but Alpine of AJ almost spun there. And then Dave has been released to catch after Nathan to go down towards turn 4. Let's see then which one of these two can get ahead of who. It is then Dave with that fresher mini compound tyre and a full front wing as well. And here comes the Ferrari now around the outside of then Dave. Oh, almost, but Nathan couldn't quite pull it off. And AJ Wuhan then is up the inside once again for take 2 between these two. And AJ finally gets ahead of his brother. Gained 1 place but lost it immediately because then Dave put himself into pieces. But a good drive so far from Dave. It's one of his better races as Nathan goes off the track there exploring off the circuit, as he's got no front wing. He's not got no downforce. Sorry, come on. There we go. As Scott would say, a Jamie Morris moment. But Henry then putting a lot of pressure on Sahilu in front. I wonder if when Henry's released, can he catch after as Jeroen Visser picks himself up a 3-second penalty, as once again in the background goes Jeroen Visser. That's Jeroen, sorry. So both Ferraris having problems around here as Den Dave puts his fellow Dutchman under pressure as we head out on the final corner we go, as we see Bonpierre under massive pressure from Leon, as Leon now takes the lead of the Grand Prix. These two just constantly swapping and changing at the bit there, as Den Dave is right behind, as we see Henry up the inside in towards turn 1. The Polish driver gets ahead for the time being as we see these two go side by side towards 1 and 2. Jeroen and Den Dave tussle out for 5th place we go. But the Williams gets the better launch on his mini compound tyres, better grip, but Jeroen Visser is still there. Which driver has DRS? Neither driver has DRS as we head down towards turn number 4, but Yuruva's may have the better straight line speed. As in the background is AJ Wuhan, almost went to the back of the Williams there, as he's lost a bit of time too. Has he lost his end plate? He has, yes. So AJ Wuhan, unfortunately for him, he has lost his end plate. Not quite sure, maybe turn 4 was the reason why he lost his end plate, because we saw him arrive at a lot of speed and maybe hit the back of Den Dave and therefore lost his front wing. I didn't see so both AJ and Nathan then are losing an end plate on the same side as well, the right hand side. So on a level playfield, as Den Dave then puts himself into P5, a much better race, because Den Dave in the last season he picked himself up so many penalties, he just couldn't go with a race without a penalty, could he? But here in Bahrain, penalty free. Hopefully for him it stays the same as Dory, the German, up the inside of Nathan JB. Then as we go wheel to wheel out of turn number 13 we go. AJ's defending as we still got Mercedes and the Ferrari side by side as we head down towards the final corner we go. Nathan's been put on the inside there, allowing Dory to get the launch around the outside. In the foreground, Bonpierre and Leon once again change places. So this looks like a constant battle between the top two because Henry is not able to catch up. We've got Sahil right behind us, Ruva. So then goes up into P5 as we've got a three-way battle behind us. That is Mercedes, Alpine and the Ferrari, as Mercedes puts himself into P7 ahead of AJ and Nathan JB. Now Kenny is looking interested on the back of the Ferrari driver there after trying to make up some lost ground. Here comes the Alpine of Dory up the inside of AJ, the other way around, sorry, as Dory defends there from AJ Wuhan for the time being. A great scrap going on in the midfield here. Oh, somebody spun and it's free fall. Free fall is out of the race and a safety car once again has been deployed. This is great for Yuri Vizza. He's able to pit without losing a lot of time and maybe go on a set of the soft compound tyres or medium. So free fall is out of the race and crashed where Sebastian Vettel spun back in 2019. Of course, he hasn't pitted just yet, but now he is out of the Grand Prix. So, safety car brings a chance for those people, for those to catch up, and for those to pit who have lost to their play like AJ Wuhan and Nathan JB. So 14 remain in this Grand Prix. Bonpierre and Leon have been leading the Grand Prix since the first safety car restart and pulling away from the rest of the field, but their lead has been completely wiped out, allowing Henry, Sahilo and the rest of them to be brought back together and hopefully have a big fight for first, because Sahilo wasn't able to get up to Leon and Bonpierre because there was all sorts of chaos around them, like Yurivas and Nathan, who were fighting out in turn 8 and Nathan lost his end plate. Therefore Sahilo had to overtake him, and Leon, oh no! The leader of Leon gets a 10-second penalty. Did he try to make his trademark move and overtake him in the pit lane? That's a big risk because he's not even his teammate. I'm not quite sure why you do that, if he did try to do that, I'm assuming. So if you remember last week, Leon overtook Sieb in the pit lane, but they were both teammates, so it was a reasonable move. But if he tries to do the same thing as he did on Bonpierre today, then yeah, it's not necessary there for Leon, and it's cost him his big chance to win his second win in a row for the ILT man. So mixture of softs, mixture of mediums, and there is about 6 laps to go. So let's see then which drivers have the benefit. Every single driver, of course, should have a new set of softs in the disposal because it is a one-shot qualifying. So I'm quite intrigued to see why people have got the medium compound tyres unless they feel like the softs can't go towards the end, because this track is a tyre killer, especially the soft compound tyres. The heavy traction zones, the heavy braking zones, as Leon hits the back of Bonpierre once again. So Nathan has rejoined P13. He's changed his wing, as AJ in P10 also has changed his wing as well on a new set of soft compound tyres. So this should be a sprint race all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. It gives Sahilo a big chance. Yeah, it gives Sahilo a big chance of winning the Grand Prix, or trying to win the Grand Prix, because obviously Leon and Bonpierre pulled away after the first safety car restart. Sahilo had no chance to get himself in the DRS range of the top two, therefore left exposed towards Henry. But now they're on a level playing field on a brand new set of softs, and we should see a climatic race towards the end, because we had Leon and Bonpierre swapping places left and right centre. Bonpierre, if I remember a few seasons ago, had a big chance to win the Grand Prix, but if I remember, I think Bonpierre and Sieb made a lot of contact, and Bonpierre was so close to winning his first Grand Prix here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, it is a distant memory I have in my memory bank, Yeah, in my memory bank, because Bompier and Sieb, I think they made contact in towards turn 8 or turn 11. It's a very yeah, a very vague memory, must be said. And I don't think either driver won the Grand Prix. I think it was somebody else who won as well. It was quite a long time ago since those two fought it out for the lead of the Grand Prix. I think it was here in Cone. As in the pit lane goes Leon, then to serve his 10-second penalty and drop himself all the way down the road. That's good news for Sahilo, because Sahilo has been released into P2, and Chihuahua, ever since he's made a return back to Cone, he has been absolutely looking good so far. It has Chihuahua. Of course, a driver from FRL as well, a multiple podium sitter, a driver who occasionally raced around here in CRL as well. In Season 10, it was nice to have him, but he's still league racing these days, which is good to see, of course. I thought he quit league racing in general, but he is still around with his YouTube videos on his channel. The Red Bull versus the Mercedes, like it was back in 2021. The first race of the season was a mega one between Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen. Verstappen took pole by 3 and a bit tenths of a second ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And what a fantastic qualifying it was for Verstappen. But unfortunately for Verstappen, he overtook Hamilton off the track, didn't he, at turn number 4, and had to give the place back. And Lewis Hamilton went on to win the Grand Prix himself. Despite Lewis Hamilton going off the track a lot, maybe more than 20 times in turn 4, but of course, Verstappen did the overtake off the track in turn 4, so that's probably why it wasn't investigated. But track limits was still an issue. Of course, 2021 with the FIA and stewards. We could talk about 2021, but I don't want to, of course. I'm only referring to the Bahrain Grand Prix about 2021. It was a good race indeed. The Valtteri Bottas finished in P3. Sergio Perez broke down on the formation lap, I believe he did, and he recovered into P5, I think. I think he did as well. Yeah, so Perez recovered into P5 despite qualifying 11th in his first race in Red Bull. He got knocked out of Q2, didn't he? Did Sergio Perez, but made his recovery drive to finish in the top 5 towards the Grand Prix. Nikita Mazepin, of course, spun out during the 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix in turn 4. That was 3 seconds he lost, 3 corners he lasted in the first opening race of the season. But the safety car is in at the end of this lap, and we can get racing once again then. Let's see how this last part of the Grand Prix, hopefully the last safety car, as Yuki Tsunoda finished in P9, didn't he, on his debut for AlphaTauri, as Pierre Gasly made contact towards turn 4, because Gasly had a mega qualifying. I think he started 4th or 5th in the AlphaTauri, but unfortunately made contact with McLaren of Norris and Ricciardo. Then it was Tsunoda who made a fantastic lunge on the inside of Fernando Alonso towards turn 1 and gained 2 points towards the Grand Prix. But the safety car is in the pit lane. That means we could go racing for the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix as the drivers then race down in towards turn 1, coming towards the heavy braking zone. How aggressive is people going to be as we head down towards turn 1? That's the Ferrari of Jeroen Visser trying to make a move, but gets compromised at the exit of turn 1. Henry side by side, there's contact between those two as now Den Dave is boxed in between Jeroen and Henry as well as we head down towards turn 4. Jeroen tries to go back down the inside. He's compromised on the medium compound tyres. The guys around him have better grip on them soft compound tyres, but then Dave is fighting so hard against Jeroen Visser as they make contact and more contact, and then Dave is almost in a spin as Jeroen goes sideways in towards turn 7. Now he's a ghost inside other people, but he gets solid once again. Den Dave has been running such a good race. I remember him in the last few races last season where picked up so many penalties and spun quite a few times as well. But here, looking very consistent, trying to get his elbows out against Jeroen Visser, but Jeroen Visser just never backs off today. He's a very aggressive driver in a good way, but unfortunately, those medium compound tyres looks to be the wrong choice for the Ferrari driver, because we've got Dory. Dory's found a good race as well in P5. So decent race from the German driver, as Jeroen Visser has already broken that train, so the top 3 are left to scrap it out for the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix, as Dory now puts himself into P4 ahead of the Ferrari driver. The Ferrari has no response on the mini compound tyre. It might be a city duck on this straight, as we've got the top 3 in the picture in your view. The DRS is enabled. Kenny gets past Jeroen, and Jeroen's defending for dear life, but the Williams swaps to the outside line as we head down towards turn 1 we go. That is Den Dave looking for a move as we go almost 3 abreast in towards turn 1. Dave makes his move around the outside in the inside line for turn 2 and turn 3 as we go wheel to wheel between the 2 Dutches. Let's see which one of the 2 Dutches get ahead of who as we head down towards turn 4. This time, Den Dave gets the move done probably a lap too late, as Jeroen Visser is under massive pressure once again. It's like Yulbream when he dropped down the order, because he was like, oh, contact there! That was so weird going down before turn 6 and turn 7. That was Leroy. And more contact, so that's Nathan JB. What a horrendous race. As, down the inside goes Jeroen, almost wipes out AJ. Now, the switch back from Glowstick takes 2 places at 1 there. Thank you very much, boys. I'll take that. And now side by side, there you go, between Leon and Jeroen, who gets forced off the track once again. Scruffy race from both Ferrari drivers, must be said, as Sahilu is right behind Bompier. He's in an IRT sandwich. Sahilu, of course, I think, who used to be an IRT, but I don't think he is anymore. But let's see then how it goes towards the last few laps of the Grand Prix, because Sahilu wants the DRS on the last lap if he can, but Henry will be in the crowd as well. In the background, Jeroen Visser goes wide once again as he squirms away and fights for traction. As we head down towards the final corner we go then, it's going to be lap 17 out of 20. 3 laps left to go, and this should be a spectacular fight between these 3 as well. Bompier has won a race this season. Sahilu has finished 2nd, but now he makes it 1st place. But of course, with 3 DRS zones around here, that is not the best place to be. In the background is Mercedes of Dory, who's won a fantastic race in P4. This is the highest I've seen Dory since he joined Cone, I dare say. The 2 Sabres are Leroy and Hobbs going wheel to wheel. The Irishman versus the driver from London as we head down towards turn 4 we go. Leroy has to yield against Hobbsy. Leroy scored a podium around here at the, I think it was in season 5, and it was Cameron Dowds versus Liam Carrag versus Sieb and LT Leroy as well. What a fantastic battle that was between all those guys there. I do miss 2021 and 2022 because that was peak times during CRL. Good peak times indeed. Hazley will finish 2nd ahead of Sieb. I think that was the race where Bompier and Sieb made contact. Surely it must have been, because they got very aggressive towards the Grand Prix and they made contact, as we see that Leon is up the inside, a glow stick in towards turn number 11 we go, as Leon gets his muscles out, elbows out, and he goes around the outside in towards turn 12. Do you remember F2? The F2 feature race or sprint race when 3 cars went 3 abreast in towards the corner. Somehow all 3 of them made it unscathed. I'm not quite sure how, but Formula 2, Formula 3, it always produces some spectacular racing throughout the field. That's why I love watching Formula 2 and Formula 3, because it's more exciting than F1. Here we go, down the main straight then. We've got Bompier behind Sahilu. Now he pulls out to go up the inside as we go in towards turn 1. Bompier has the inside line, but Sahilu trying to defend from Henry and trying to reclaim P1, but he can't quite do so. But he has the DRS, does he, at the exit of turn 4? No. Bompier has the DRS then, so great car placement there to get the DRS at the exit of turn number 3 and keep ahead of Sahilu as well. Once again, these 2 are side by side. That is Glowstick versus Leon. Leon tried to make some lost ground after sustaining that 10-second penalty. He's up into P9 now, but he goes off the track and might have picked up a track limit violation for that one. There's the top 3. What a fantastic drive as well from Kenny, because Kenny spun early on in the Grand Prix as well. He's up into P4 and he's too far away from the podium. He is on the mini compound tyres, and I think Dory, then Dave have a big chance. Kenny started P2 the last time we raced around here in Bahrain. I think he finished in P4 after spinning out early in the Grand Prix at turn 8 last season. Don't know how I remember all this, because I just remember that there was a massive break between season 10 and season 11. Like, it was 9-month break, I think, between season 10 and season 11, because there was ACC in the middle of it where I commentated. But F1 returned back in Australia in season 11, where we saw multiple safety cars come out. As now here comes the Mercedes, here comes the Haas as we head down towards turn 1. Bompier gets swapped on the straight as we go towards the breaker zone. Bompier and Henry now side by side in towards 1, 2 and turn 3. Is there enough space? There is through turn 3. Slight contact there, but both have a DRS on the back of the Mercedes. Let's see who gets ahead of who. In towards turn 4 we go as Bompier goes around the outside in towards turn 4. So close between us 2 as they both almost lost traction, but Bompier stays ahead and goes up into P2. Great defending from Bompier. He almost lost 2 places, but defended very well against the Haas driver indeed. Filing through turn 9 and turn 10 we go. It is the penultimate lap of the race as Dory in the background did get past Kenny, but Kenny should have the DRS at the back of him on the final lap as well. 3 DRS zones around here. What is the order going to be like? Is it Sahilu who might pick up his first win? Henry, who's going for his first win of the season as well, because Bobby's taking the first race of the season, and I think in the second race it belonged to Leon. But Henry is also trying to get his first win of the season too. Could it be 3 different winners in 3 races? Here we are with the top 3, the Mercedes versus the Red Bull, like it was back in 2021 with the Haas following 2 of Henry. Sahilu is going to be under massive pressure with the guys behind having DRS. It is the final race, the final tour of the Grand Prix as we head down towards turn 1. Where is Bompier going to make his move? As Sahilu goes defensive on the inside, as Bompier tries to go around the outside, breaks later in towards turn 1 there, but he should have the DRS. A better exit for turn 2, in towards turn 3. There's enough space for Sahilu still as we go out of turn 3. DRS enabled for Bompier, but here comes Henry now. Can he take a Bompier going down towards turn 4? He can't, but Sahilu has been relegated and shuffled down into P3. Bompier takes the lead of the Grand Prix. As in the background, Kenny does get past Dave. Dari has lost a few places. In the background, there's almost 4 abreast there between Jeroen, Leon, Glowstick and AJ as we go side by side between the 2 RP drivers. As one of the drivers there just squeezes ahead. There's more contact between the 2 as we head down towards turn 8. As Jeroen and Leon there swap places, better contact too because Leon also goes to car, but Jeroen is back ahead. As we go down towards turn 9 and turn 10, we go in the breaker zone. Last DRS straight. Is there anything Henry can do against Bompier? Oh, here he is! Oh, I thought for 1 second he might go for a move, but maybe he lost a bit of time at the exit of turn 11 because he went a bit deep. Well, that allows Sahilu to get back through. Who has got the battery down at this last back straight? Because sometimes, like DC versus Duo, I think like season 2 and 3, when they were scrapping it out, Duo, I think, overtook DC. But here we go with the battery. Then here comes Sahilu on the back of the Haas for the final lap. In the final corner we go. Can he take on P2? Let's find out as we go side by side. The Ferrari is spun, but Henry stays ahead. Here comes Bompier for the second time this season. Bompier wins the Baku Grand Prix, or the Bahrain Grand Prix, shall I say. And in the background, Kenny finishes in P4. And look at this, 4 abreast as we have a photo finish towards the line. Wow, that was so close. I don't know who finished ahead of who there. Leon, though, lost it by 1,000th of a second. Congratulations to Bompier. He wins the Bahrain Grand Prix after losing it a few seasons ago, making contact with Steve as he lost his front wing. But Bompier wins for the second time this season, and we've got 1 more race left to go, which is the Qatar Grand Prix. LT Bompier takes his second win this season ahead of Henry. Sahilu on the podium for the second time in a row. Kenny finishes in P4 despite losing out early in the Grand Prix. Dari in P5 and P9 ahead of Den Dave in the Williams. Glowstick in P7 ahead of LT Leon. AJ P9 ahead of Hobbsy. And Jeroen finishes in the top 10. It's been a very difficult race for both Ferrari drivers. And there's a bit of conflict and inter-team battle there between the 2 of them as well, as Nathan is not happy with Jeroen Visser. Personally, I can't comment on it because it happened too quickly, so I can't really see. So there is a 5-minute break and I will go to the toilet and I'll be back with you guys very shortly indeed. I was about to invite you to the party, mate, but I forgot I was already in the group chat. Well, RT Bumpy, mate. Thomas Nijmegen. Hoe gaat het?
Yeah, doing well. Quite sweaty after that one.
I bet you are as well, in the heat of the desert here back in Bahrain. But we still got one more race in Qatar. So just to not waste your time, we're only going to interview you as you're the race winner of the first race. It's your second win of the season, mate. Fantastic race at the Austrian Grand Prix, despite being hunted down by Leon and also Sieb as well. But here in Bahrain, you did a fantastic job. You planned your moves at the right time as well, and very, very tactical as well, going down towards turn one, because you used the DRS to back a Sahilu, and you made sure you stayed behind just before the breaker zone with the DRS line heading up towards turn 3 and turn 4. So great tactical teamwork there. Well, great tactics there for you, Bob Pierre. Was that the strategy the whole time?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the middle stint when me and Leon were driving, we broke away. So I just thought, well, we'll just swap for a couple of times and then I'll try to stay behind. That didn't happen because they saved the car. So yeah, then it was Sihilo and Henry. They were also keeping me on my toes a lot. I knew Henry was just saving his ERS, so he was gonna attack us at the last couple of laps, which he did. Luckily, I was able to fend him off, and then exactly what you said. Sihilo went defensive into turn 1. So I wanted to be alongside and have the DRS. Made sure to stay behind at the DRS line, and then good traction out of turn 1 and 2 and stayed ahead.
And also as well, those safety cars, did they help you? Because at the beginning of the race, I think you started on the mediums, whereas the others started on the hardcore powered tyres. But I think you all got put on a level playing field really when you pitted for the hardcore powered tyres. Yes. So did the safety car help you, or was it just
I think both negatively impacted me a little bit, because the first one, soft runners had an advantage because it was just not the time for the softs to die yet. My mediums would have come into play a bit later on. And the second one, it was just me and Leon, and now, so it was a 2-way fight, and it turned into a 3-way fight after the second safety car. So it was tougher for both. Yeah.
You must be very nervous as well, because high pressure situation where you, Sahilo, and also Leon are fighting. How nervous were you? Were you able to keep calm? Because obviously you got Leon right behind you as well. And out of turn 3 and 4, did you expect Leon to go for a little bit of a move down towards turn 4 on the last lap when you got past Sahilo?
It was Henry, but no, that's fine. I mean, I saw them that they were quite far behind. I think Henry was a bit boxed in, so I knew that if Sihalo didn't have the DRS, so I could stay to the left, keep Henry boxed in, and then I would probably be further ahead of Sihalo. Then if I moved to the right, then Henry would have been closer to me. So I tried to be kind of in the middle, so they both couldn't go for a move, and that worked out.
Brilliant indeed then. And how's your confidence here, Qatar? Are you good around this circuit? What's the plan? Well, don't tell us the plan.
I don't know. I mean, I've not really done any prep. Same for Bahrain, so we will see.
Well, goed gedaan vandaag. Congratulations, mate. Well done today, and good luck for Qatar.
Cheers.
You're welcome, mate. Moving on to Chihuahua. Hello, mate. How are you doing? Nice to see you on the podium. I haven't spoken to you for such a long time, but you're back on the podium, mate, and it's nice to see you still racing. I take it you are a bit frustrated, but that's how things go, really, because when you're first in the DRS train on the last lap, it's never going to end well. But you made a little bit of a move down towards the final corner, in towards the turn, I think it was 14, 15, but it couldn't pay it off. But I think the race is about to begin, so I think you have to go, unfortunately.
I do, yeah. But anyway, yeah. Basically what you said.
Well, I'll let you go right now to get into your just prepare yourself. So, good luck, mate.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
You're welcome. See you later. So we move on to the Qatar Grand Prix as Bompia and Sahilo have left the party. As it's the second race then in Qatar. Completely different track towards Bahrain, high speed circuit, and of course we saw Lucas Sargent, who unfortunately suffered after the end of the race, had to retire mid-race. It is a 5.4 kilometer circuit, you're on throttle most of the time during the lap. Slowest corners down at turn number 6 as well. of course, the biggest overtaking possibility down in towards turn number 1. The only DRS zone is at the long 1 kilometer straight in towards turn 1 then. I do like the circuit. It's a fast-flowing circuit full of medium speed and high-speed corners. Good combination between those. It's built, I think it was built back in 2004 for the MotoGP Grand Prix. And talk about MotoGP, they did race around here in Qatar, I think it was last weekend or the week before, as it was Marc Marquez who took the victory ahead of, I think it was Pecco Bagnaia, and I think Jorge Martin crashed after returning from a injury. But yeah, it was Marc Marquez who won, and Marc Marquez is leading, I think Alex Marquez leading the championship. No, Marc Marquez leading the championship ahead of Alex Marquez. It's a Marquez 1-2, but the DRS is wide open then, as you should see the top speeds around here. It's about 355 kilometers an hour. Some people, I think some of you think I'm talking shit, but I'm talking about MotoGP, so sorry about that. I had to clarify myself there. But anyways, we head down towards turns. That's Henry going out wide, and his lap already ruined then as we go on board with Leon, who seems to be in first place. As we head through turn 4 and turn 5 we go. Look at this, just lift off the throttle there, lift off once again. I think I've seen some people in the past do take it flat out through turn 4 and turn 5, but it all depends on confidence, the setup as well. Of course, it's a ultra qualifying, so you have to go as quickly as you can, but try not to risk it too much. That's counterintuitive, what I'm saying, because obviously it's a one-shot qualifier. You have one shot only, and unfortunately, if you make a mistake, then that's it. You're down the order. 2 drivers are here, which is Sweet Crown and Peas, as Leon almost, well, he did go off the track, but did he pick up a track limit violation as we now head towards this triple right-hander we go. Let's see then. Takes it fully flat out, of course, in these high-speed corners. This is a very difficult place in terms of like on older tyres. So basically, when people pit onto a new set of tyres, if they catch up to people on old tyres, it's just so painful being stuck behind those guys as we exit the final corner. Now, the DRS is enabled. Leo across the line. It's a 20.9. That's a decent lap time, you know, for a one-shot qualifying, and Leon takes pole. The disadvantage, though, I've said it before in the past, and this applies to me, if that for those people who are not very good at adapting, it takes a few laps for them to get a good laps on the board, because in short qualifying you have about 3 or 4 chances to set a good lap time, but here in one shot you get one shot only. And for those people who are not really good at adapting quickly, who can't get in the car, who can't set the lap time immediately, one shot qualifying is an absolute nightmare. And it's Leon on pole ahead of Sahilo, Nathan JB. Good luck from him in P3. Then David P4 ahead of RT Leroy. Again, P5. Glow Stick is 6th ahead of Dari. AG Wuhan in P8 ahead of 3-4 Hopsy in P10. Bob Pierre, though, yesterday's race winner. Come on, Jamie, come on. A few minutes ago, race winner in Bahrain in 11th place ahead of Jerome, Henry, Kenny, and Jeroen Visser. That is your classification for the top 15 for the Grand Prix for the second race here in Qatar. It's funny though, because Bahrain is towards the first half of the season, and Qatar is towards the end now. So you're travelling everywhere, jumping around the countries, moving left and right from different places to another. I don't like it, you know, but like, I think that you all should be close together, like Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, all in the Middle East should be close together. So you don't have to keep travelling from like one continent to another, if that makes sense. It's like Canada as well. Canada is in the mid-season of the European Grand Prix, because you're in Europe, then all of a sudden you're going to go back to North America to travel back to Europe again. Because Canada, I think, after that, is it the Austrian Grand Prix? You've got Monaco, Spain, Canada, Austria, and Silverstone. So yeah, you're going you in Europe, back to North America, then back towards Europe again. Doesn't really make sense, but I think it's due to the is it the temperature, the weather? Because it can be quite cold up there in North America, a lot of snow as well. And last year, of course, at the Canadian Grand Prix, where it was a wet race, turned into a dry race towards the end. A lot of carnage, a lot of chaos as well, and good racing. Max Verstappen took the victory after Lando Norris, I think, slipped up. We did see contact, didn't we, down at turn number 1 between Russell and Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton tried to swoop him on the outside. Russell was in the middle, nowhere to go, of course, and Verstappen had the inside line as Hamilton got completely wiped out there. I can't believe some people try to compare that, you know, towards what did they compare it to? Was it Silverstone 2021? Completely different scenarios. I can't believe that some of the generation of these fans these days are absolutely delusional. I can't believe some people try to compare it. Completely different scenarios indeed. But yeah, but if you see MotoGP, I think some people here do like MotoGP. If you see the top speeds, about 355 kilometers an hour, that is high speed. Because MotoGP, of course, carrying no wings, only little wings, of course. But obviously, Formula One cars carry a lot of downforce. The overtakes you see as well on the main straight are incredible. Down the main straight in F1 and MotoGP. I think it was Marquez who won the sprint race and the feature race as well. Because MotoGP, every single race is a sprint race, like in Formula 2. Yeah, we need to see the tyre compounds then. So the tyres is that majority of mediums, ones are the soft, and Bompier has got the hard on. So Bompier's going for the long stint in P11 there. Let's see how his strategy works out towards the end of the Grand Prix. He did start on the hards, didn't he? No, he started the mediums back in Bahrain. But here he's got the hards and Yaruna's got soft then, as the rest are the medium compound tyres. Let's see what happens down towards turn 1 between Leo and Sahilo. Sahilo is quite strong around this track in previous seasons. So is Cal Scarra as well, but I think Cal Scarra also spun a few seasons ago. It was QVR Nathan, who the last time he came here, who won the Qatar Grand Prix ahead of Pease, and Sahilo finished on the podium as well in P3. So Sahilo is strong around here. Kenny's strong around here as well, but he starts down in P14. Bosch Evans finished in P4. I think we had one race only around here in Qatar in CRL history, so not a lot of history around here at Qatar, but let's see then what history can be made tonight as the drivers then line up on the grid, ready for the race. From pole down towards turn 1, it is 374 metres down towards turn number 1. I remember Nathan JB, I think, a few seasons ago, he made contact in towards turn 1 against somebody. Was it Isak Kush or was it Yulbin? I'm not quite sure. Or was it Yulbin and Nathan that spun each other out? But here we go, there's 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are underway for the Qatar Grand Prix. Let's see who gets a lovely launch. It's foot to the floor immediately. Leo goes towards the left-hand side to cover off Sahilo there. But Sahilo now changes to the outside line as we head down towards turn 1 we go. It's Sahilo able to go on the outside. But here comes Nathan JB side by side between Den Dave and himself. Den Dave almost lost the car. Was sliding just a bit. Glowstick now goes up the inside of the Williams driver who's been demoted into P4. But Glowstick there. But Den Dave just gets ahead for the time being as we go through turn 5 and turn 6 we go. Den Dave is able to stay ahead of Glowstick despite losing momentum and traction out of turn 3 and 4. And now Yaru Visser capitalising on the soft compound tyres is up into P8. Bompier has lost 1 place. He's demoted into P12, fighting with the kick Sauber. Oh, he lost traction there and he wiggles out the corner. Yaru Visser on the inside in towards turn 7. He goes around the outside there. Is he able to keep all 4 wheels on the track? He is. But AJ backs out for the time being as Yaru Visser puts himself into P7. Henry now gets ahead of Hobbsy as the McLaren goes deep in the braking zone. Yaroon off the track, almost off the track there, but Bompier now is with him. Both McLarens at the back of the field as Yaroon Visser made up another place. He's up into 6th place. What a fantastic start there from the Dutchman. He's able to capitalise on the soft compound tyres. That is very important and crucial for his Grand Prix to make use of those soft compound tyres immediately at this stage of the Grand Prix. As they all file through then, in towards the final corner we go. It is Leon who leads ahead of Sahilo, Nathan JB in P3. Hopefully Nathan JB for the 3rd race in a row does not get full mid damage. That's been a regular occurrence this season for Nathan JB, just picking up damage as the kick Sauber in the background pulls out to go ahead of AJ Wuhan as we go down in towards turn 1 we go. AJ has been released into P9, but when you get the switch back on the exit in towards turn 1 and now go through turn 2 we go. Leroy has the inside line there, but AJ with a better momentum around the outside, is he able to capitalise and go up the inside towards 4? No, he's not. He stays behind for the time being. I do like this track though. It's good for battling, but obviously in F1 with the dirty air and the engine's getting very hot as well, temperatures skyrocketing through the roof, it's quite difficult to overtake. Yes, there's a DRS zone down towards turn number 1, but sometimes it's just a bit difficult to overtake. AJ wiggles on the exit of turn 7 as we foul through these high-speed corners going in towards turn 11 here. This can make a bit difficult corner as well because some people do run out wide. But Yaroon gets a lovely launch and he's up the inside of Glowstick. He puts himself into P5 then, so making good use of them soft compound tyres. Look at that, Yaroon in 2 laps has gained 10 places there. The soft compound tyres has paid him dividends now. But what about later on in the Grand Prix, when the medium tyres will have the advantage? But Bompierre has made up no ground. Bompierre's pitted then. So Bompierre has pitted onto a set of the medium compound tyres. Did he? Well, I didn't see him. Oh, he's made a mistake. Oh, poor Bompierre. For first in Bahrain, last here in Qatar, as Dory has followed down the order. That's the power of the DRS. So AJ and Leroy go side by side once again as we head down towards turn 1. AJ later on the brakes, but Leroy all with a better momentum in towards turn 1, more speed. But AJ has the racing line and covers him off for the time being then, as those guys have been left behind. So it is a 6-way fight for first place, as 7th place has been left behind due to the expense of AJ and Leroy fast out for turn number 1, and Dory's been into P9. Expected more though for Henry in P10. Not really made up much ground so far in the Haas, but he's running down there in P10. Difficult race for him. No, it wasn't. It was Leon. So I don't know why I get confused between Leon and Henry. 2 different names, 2 different drivers, but for some reason I get mixed up between those two. But ILT Leon, the young Brit, leading the Grand Prix with Sahila right behind, Nathan right behind too in P3. Don't get confused between a different Leon, because remember Leon Aries, remember ILT Leon in terms of, I think it was the Romanian driver of Leon there, who was in ILT but switched to CPI. So Leon is not the German, or the Romanian, if you think that Leon is not, because I thought ILT Leon was a Romanian person, but it wasn't. It's the Brits. It's a completely different person there. So they go mixed up between those guys. In the background, that's Glow Stick re-overtaking the Reavers. Then, has the peak performance of those softs gone away? It's quite ludicrous to say, as AJ now has lost 3 places because Henry's up the inside, but AJ swooping around the outside to defend that, and it keeps 9th place there. We'll see this constantly as well, that people might lose 2 or 3 places, because if you have no DRS and you're first in that DRS zone, then you're going to get swamped backwards, aren't you? But Glow Stick is super close to losing DRS. I thought I saw a bit of snow there on the track, but I'm quite sure what that was in the background on the gravel there. As Kenny now overtakes Henry. Oh, out wide goes Leon. That's a very rare mistake to make indeed. It's not common you see people locking up there in towards turn 7. That's released to Hillu. Was that purposeful, or was that generally a mistake there from Leon? Because that's very odd indeed. Maybe just outbroke himself a bit too much and therefore just went out wide. And then Dave is piling the pressure as well. Glowstick is doing his absolute best to stay in DRS range. You know what? It's so important to stay in DRS range, because if you lose that DRS advantage, then the guys behind will be on the back wall. The guys in front of you will pull away, and therefore you have nothing to respond with as well, because the slipstream is so important to be inside of as well. I know what it's like, because I've been in these situations plenty of times where you lose the slipstream, you lose the DRS, and you just feel vulnerable and defenseless. You just can't do anything about it. Even if you've got good pace, you just can't able to stick with that train, because in this game, it's all about just sticking the DRS train in the first stint, then obviously fighting later on. But here we go, down towards turn 1. That's Dory and AJ Wuhan going side by side once again, as the Mercedes driver has been dropped into P9, so from P7 to P9. And here comes Kenny up the inside too, in towards 3 and 4 we go, or turn 3, sorry, as AJ gets a penalty in a very obscure place, it must be said. You don't really see many people pick up penalties at the exit of turn 3, so he must have went out wide on the exit there, or cut the corner in towards 3. But yeah, very odd penalty indeed. So Leroy 4 seconds back. There's absolutely no hope from 7th place downwards. They're hoping that a safety car comes out, but safety cars are quite rare. But we did see a safety car, I think back in season 9 it was, where Gary crashed at turn 6, and he caused a safety car that day. QVR Gary, what a guy. The Irishman indeed. But unfortunately no longer racing with us these days either. Leon piling the pressure there against Sahilo, as they all fire through the high-speed section on throttle majority of the lap as well, as we head towards the final corner we go. So Leon made a mistake, but the mistake hasn't seemed to faze him, as Henry picks himself up a 3-second attack penalty as we now approach lap 6 out of 20. DRS wide open once again with all these drivers, but it must be so frustrating though for then Dave downwards not to overtake people, because yes, you're in that DRS train, but it's so hard to progress when you're further back in that DRS train. AJ and Kenny and Leroy now swapping places as we go side by side in towards turn 1, and Kenny puts himself into P8 as the finishman, just slowly but surely moving up the order, as Leroy goes out wide, and that may be a track limit violation there at the exit of turn 2. Kenny indeed finished P3 at season 10, didn't he? Oh, AJ almost lost the car as Kenny then puts the pressure on, looking for a move, trying to force AJ into a mistake and going out wide to do the under and over if he can, get a better exit, but not able to do so. Just waiting for the right opportunity as you see Kenny taking different lines through there. Very confident in the corners indeed as AJ just seems to be struggling in the Alpine there, finding no grip whatsoever. Bobby is still going, but of course he's losing a lot of time. I think that was a front wing change. Leon there, I thought for 1 second all 4 wheels was off the circuit, but keeps one of them in bounds, I think. But this track is also brutal. It is prone to picking up penalties. We've seen plenty of times where drivers pick up penalties, including Henry, who's just picked up another penalty in his Grand Prix. Leon, though, outside the track at the final corner, and he goes for the lead of the Grand Prix again. Here comes Nathan JB, also wants to go for second place there as he pops himself into P2. That's the power of the DRS, but outside there, wow! Swoops on the outside, and Nathan JB then has lost his momentum a bit in towards turn 1, got put off his equilibrium there, as now here comes Den Dave right behind Nathan JB as we head down towards 4-5. I don't think Nathan JB was expecting that, but Zahilu was very determined to stay in P2 and he just swept around the outside there. Now I wonder if Nathan JB thinks that there was no room left for him. There's something wrong with the dash there, Nathan. It looks like it's just fade. It's like a ghost, isn't it? The effects on the steering wheel is not really right, is it? Maybe that's just me or not, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's just the lights or the effects of the game. It's just like a bit blurry from time to time on the Ferrari steering wheel. As Leon then exploring the track once again at the outside of turn 11, he's very close to pick up penalties because I've noticed that he has run out wide multiple times. And again, how is this man not picked up a penalty? Because I've seen him go off the track multiple times, but still. Oh, he's so close there. Is he trying to push to break out of DRS range? Because if he is, then he's used a lot of battery. He's derated down the straight as well. Let's see his ERS data. Yeah, he's used a lot of battery as well. I'm not quite sure why, because breaking out DRS is super hard around here. But now, this is going to bite him back now with the lack of ERS he has in. So maybe this lap it's all about saving battery as close to... Oh, Sahil around the outside again. Wow, what a move. Around the outside as Den Dave picks himself up a 3-second penalty fighting with glow stick. I can't believe what I just saw there. Do you know what? I wish I paid more attention to that because I didn't expect it to go for a move that early in the Grand Prix. It didn't look like he was in a position to overtake you, did he? As Leon gets a bit wobbly out of turn 5 there as he flicks the car aggressively in towards 6, the slowest part of the track. But I wasn't expecting him to make a move. There's no way that Leon is going to assemble at the inside, is he? In towards turn 7 and 8 we go. He's using batteries though, but Leon, oh, here he is then, up the inside and towards turn 12 we go, on his contact, and Sahila goes off the track. We don't really see many overtakes there, and now Sahila rejoins in P2, but Leon might let him back through, he is. Here comes Sahila, back around the outside there to retake the lead of the Grand Prix, so good sportsmanship from Leon. He forced up the inside, pushed off the track, and gave him back to place, so no penalty should be coming his way. But this bunches up the top 6 right back in contention as well. Nathan JB right behind these two as well. Nathan JB has got to watch out as the Ferrari in the background is in the pit lane. Here comes Nathan on the prowl as he goes side by side with Leon as he puts himself into P2. But the level pegging as we head down towards turn 1, DRS has been shut. Nathan is up into P2, but here comes Den Dave now. And what's happened to Leon? Leon, what has happened to him? Has he lagged out? Oh, what a shame for Leon there. Absolute shame. Yeah. Not quite sure what's going on there with the Aston Martin driver. It seems to be driving in AI mode. So maybe a problem with the steering wheel. I'm not quite sure. Den Dave now has been released up into P3. As you can see, that glow stick in the background just drifting in towards the corner we go. So what is happening with Leon in P5 there? He's driving as an AI. Has he had a problem with the steering wheel? He is on wheel, we've seen that of course, when he's flicking it through the corners, because obviously Pad can't do that. And Kenny is right behind. Kenny, though, has dropped Leroy and AJ, so great pace there from the McLaren driver to dispose Leroy and AJ Wuhan to run his own little race in P6. Oh, Kenny can be very careful though because the AI is driving slowly through the corners. Where is Leon? What is going on with him? As we see the top 4 then right on the back of each other as we head down the 1 kilometre straight there. Nathan JB is in P2 and he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Remember, a few seasons ago when we raced around here in Qatar, Nathan JB as Leon retires in the pit lane then, so he's out of the race. No safety car will be deployed on that occasion. Jeroen Visser has rejoined in P13 on a bonus lane compound tires. We head down towards turn 1. This Gagala cars scrapping out for P6 with AJ, Leroy, Davi and Jeroen as well in that battle. AJ currently leading this train, but he's got Leroy and Davi right behind him as well for good measure. Kenny though, has he got the pace to catch up towards the top 4? It's a shame about his qualifying. He does go strong around here in Qatar, but in terms of his qualifying, it has absolutely cost him as well, and it broke the train. He's pulled away from AJ. I'm not quite sure what happened to those guys behind as well. How come AJ and Leroy lost the DRS towards Kenny? Did they fight so hard and therefore Kenny was able to pull away and break that DRS immediately? But I think this is going to be a lonely race for Kenny in P5 unless he can catch towards the top 4. He has gained half a second on this lap. It was 4.9 to 4.4, but obviously those guys ahead have the DRS down the main straights. Then Dave gets super close behind Sahilo and Nathan. Where has this Dave been the whole season? Because last season made a lot of mistakes, picked up so many penalties. But here he is. He has got a penalty right now, but still, it's an improvement as AJ Wuhan now picks himself up a 3-second penalty. 9 laps left to go in this race, and Nathan JB has been overtaken by Sahilo, and Sahilo is back into P1. Nathan JB, though, however, in P2, remember at turn number 1, I think, a few seasons ago, when he made contact with Dual Beam. I'm not quite sure which driver spun, but I'm pretty sure it ruined both their races. And Nathan JB had a habit, didn't he, of making first lap contact, I think, in the season 8 or 9. Back in the days where QVR Nathan was racing as well. So it must have been season 9, because season 8 was the season where Aurelia won the championship back in 2022. Oh my god. If you talk about those seasons ago, it's just like brings so back many memories as well. I do miss those times. Thankfully, we are still racing today here in Cone. Season 12. Obviously, we've got mixed and matched. We've got different scenarios for different races. Each race has its own special edition. And this race, well, this 2 races, shall I say, is Bahrain and Qatar, 35% races, both of them. And of course, back in the first race of the season was Austria, the red race, where we had a mandatory 2-stop strategy. Baku was a normal race, so you could do whatever you like in Baku. Go for that usual 1-stop strategy as well, but we had safety cars coming out on that day as well. As once again, the top 4 all in close contention. So my lap was cheeks anyway, says Leon. As here comes AJ and Leroy in the pit lane. I'm trying to look at the chat to see what happened to Leon. Let me just tag him real quick. So we've got a few people pitting. Jeroen pitted quite early because he was on the soft compound tyres, as Leroy and AJ now switch over to those softs. So I'm trying to find the calendar because to give you an update of the league. So there we go then. So Hungary is just a normal race. So do whatever you like there with the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think Sieb, Nathan and Jeroen had a big scrap there, the Hungarian Grand Prix. I think Sieb won the Grand Prix in Hungary all those years ago. And Bompio as well, picking up podiums at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Bompio picked up his first podium in CRL in Hungary all those years ago. Spain is next as well. And I remember Sahila made contact. Who was it at the time? It was an Aston Martin driver. Wasn't it Julian Janssen he made contact with? It was the 2 Aston Martins made contact and they crashed in the high-speed corner of turn 11 and 12 in the double right-hander. It was the Aston Martin pair. It was Sahilo, but I can't remember who his teammate was at the time. Was it Posh Evans or was it Julian Janssen? But Glowstick has lost the DRS towards the top 3, and Nathan JB then swoops back into the other Grand Prix. So the top 3 then have been left alone to try and scrap out for first place. Is there any chance for Glowstick to get himself back in DRS range? He is lacking a bit in terms of DRS there. And the Australian Grand Prix, which was the first race of the season last season. A chaotic race indeed, but I think it was Nelly Safu who won after returning back on PC, a former Div 2 and Div 3 driver. The Spanish Grand Prix, by the way, is a mandatory 2-stop. The Australian Grand Prix is a 1-stop. Miami and Vegas, the 2 races at the USA, are a double header, 1-shot qualifying and 35% race. And the last race this season in Belgium is a normal, I think, 1-stop strategy, or no rules indeed on that race. The Belgian Grand Prix, which should finish before the new game. I think the 29th of May, on Thursday, is when the game comes out, and that's when the last race of this game ends. I can't wait, actually, to get into this game. I don't really have a lot of good memories on this game, because I'll tell you something, I've not won a league race on this game at all. I league race still, and every single time I've league raced, since 2018, I've won in that league, or any league. But ever since 2024, I have not won a single league race this season. As Kenny goes through, as these guys are pitted, the main person to watch out for is this man in the Ferrari, because I think he'll get the undercut on those guys ahead. But of course, those guys alternating onto another set of soft compound tyres. So those guys will be quick. Jeroen will have the track position, I think, when he gets out of the pit lane. There they are, trundling down the pit lane as Jeroen Visser goes full speed on the straight. There they are, the 4 cars behind us in the pit lane as he can go full speed once again. So Jeroen does take the net lead of the Grand Prix, but not by much, as the guys behind are on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. We expect Jeroen to be hunted down like a dog. Nathan JB will be on the back of him soon. Nathan JB's last win, I think, was at the Brazilian Grand Prix. That was a very messy race indeed. When a lot of drivers took each other out as well. AMS Renz was also on the podium that day as well. Nathan JB has already caught up to Jeroen Visser. It is 1.2 seconds then, so almost in DRS range of his own teammates. So that undercut, that early pit stop from soft to medium hasn't worked for Jeroen Visser, unfortunately, as Glowstick gets a penalty. So it is down towards Nathan JB and Sahilu to decide who will win around here in Qatar. Sahilu has picked up a podium here in Qatar a few seasons ago, but he's looking for his first win in CRL. Can he do it? He came close in Baku, finished in P2, as Nathan JB then is in DRS range of Jeroen Visser. There is 5 laps left to go as Kenny now pits onto a set of the soft compound tyres. He should rejoin in P7, I think. Or P6, shall I say, as now Nathan takes the lead. Here comes Sahilu, wants to attack immediately to make sure he stays with Nathan. Jeroen goes defensive as we head down towards turn 1, as they got so close to the breaker zone. Jeroen loses traction out of turn 2, or turn 1, sorry. Sahilu was not messing around. He needed to make that move immediately to stay with Nathan. And here comes Sahilu then. Will he go through down towards turn 4, turn 5? No, he can't. Bompier does, though, pick up a 3-second penalty. What happened to Bomp at the start? He's still going. So, massive respect there for the Dutch driver in P13. Very easy, very tempted to quit, of course, but Bompier is still going. As we head down towards turn 6 and turn 7 to go. Or turn 7 to turn 8, shall I say. I love this track. This track full of mid-speed, high-speed corners. And, Nathan and Sahilu make contact, and Jeroen Visser goes through, up into P2 he goes. Will he take the lead of the Grand Prix again? Let's find out as we go down towards the triple hander. Sahilu's boxed in there, side by side. It's a Ferrari 1-2, as Jeroen sweeps around the outside there. Sahilu, he didn't want to go for the lead because he knew he made contact with Nathan, so he backed off. But does he have damage, I wonder? And now Den Dave and Glowstick are on the back of the gearbox of that Mercedes. It's a Ferrari 1-2, and Sahilu goes off the track in the final corner. Let's see if Ferrari can try and work the strategy together. Here comes Sahilu then, rides the back of Jeroen Visser as we go. Sahilu was boxed in momentarily as we head down towards turn. That's great car placement. Here comes the Williams around the outside. It's 3 abreast in towards turn. What is it? As the Williams goes off the track. And back down the inside goes Sahilu, down towards turn 2 we go, as now Jeroen is off the track, and then Dave goes back up into P3. Very intense there, but Sahilu literally had nowhere to go because both Ferraris defended the track, made it as wide as they could, and Sahilu just couldn't go anywhere at all. Then he had the Williams around the outside in towards turn 1 as Glowstick a bit deep in the breaker zone there. Kenny still in P6, but he's a long way behind. Got good pace though. The gap's 3.9. It was like 5.2 a few laps ago, so he is catching. But of course, these guys ahead do have DRS, so it's a bit difficult for Kenny to catch. And there is 4 laps left to go in this race. Jeroen will get a podium because the guys behind and ahead have got... Oh, Jeroen Visser has just picked himself up a 3-second penalty then. So he's level pegging with Glowstick and then Dave. So he has to make the overtake on the track then. Maybe Kenny could get a podium too. So Jeroen, Glowstick and then Dave do have 3-second penalties. Which one of those three will finish the podium? Because if you look at the penalties, then Dave has 6, Jeroen has 3, Glowstick has 6. Wait, Jeroen does not have a penalty. I swear I saw that Jeroen Visser picked a penalty. Am I going blind? I'm not quite sure. But anyways, here comes Sahilu now on the lead against Nathan. Kenny sets the fast up the Grand Prix. Well, he's charging as well, but it's a bit too late for him as Sahilu takes the lead away from Nathan once again. Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what I saw. But anyways, Jeroen did not get a 3-second penalty, so my bad. I thought I saw it pop on the screen. But Den Dave is so close back at Nathan as well. The last thing Nathan needs is Den Dave to go through. Den Dave has got a penalty, I think 6 seconds. And Nathan needs to be fully concentrated. And Sahilu, maybe on this lap, save up battery and use it all down towards turn 1 on the final laps of the Grand Prix. So that's Nathan's best bid to try and win this race. Keeping Den Dave behind, who looks very quick in that Williams, but does have a 6-second penalty. And Jeroen Visser might get a podium too. All these guys are so pushed up, but Sahilu is streaking away actually. So Sahilu is actually pulling away from Nathan JB. Can he break the DRS? Let's find out, but he can't do so far. Nathan JB though, very close, almost out of DRS range, as Den Dave is under immediate pressure from Jeroen Visser right behind. So this is very important now for Nathan JB at this stage to save battery, stick behind Sahilu. There's no way he's going to go for the overtake right now, is he? Surely he might back off. No, he doesn't. He's going to go for the lead. So he does go up to first place. And now Jeroen is up the inside in towards turn 1 of the Williams there. That's good news for Nathan, though, in P. Maybe Jeroen Visser is thinking about the race win. I don't think Ferrari are actually working together. Maybe not. But Jeroen wants to win. The top 3 don't have penalties. So I think it's all for pride here, regardless of who's who. Because obviously Jeroen Visser is a reserve driver. So this is down to pride. It's the 2 Ferraris versus the Mercedes, the prancing horse versus the Merc, and we'll see which engine manufacturer gets ahead of who. Is it the Ferrari power? Is it Mercedes power? You think that Ferrari have the cards up their sleeves to try and fight Sahilu, because Sahilu has got 2 cars to fight with as well. So Sahilu is a bit of a tricky situation here with 1 Ferrari behind him, 1 in front of him. Nathan's got Jeroen Visser as a rear gunner to keep Den Dave and Glowstick behind to make sure they don't interfere with that battle. But now we head towards the high-speed section, towards the triple right-hander we go, coming towards this left-hander, just a little bit of a dab on the brakes there, into 6th gear. Now, very important for Nathan, when he gets swamped in the straight by Sahilu and Jeroen, was that move on the last lap the wrong thing to do? Because these guys are so bunched up then. Sahilu is right at the back of Nathan JB as he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Then Dave is on the back of Jeroen Visser as we head down towards turn 1. But I think Jeroen has done Nathan a favour here. Keeping Den Dave behind, not going to go for the overtake. Did Jeroen use EOS? I'm not quite sure. Despite having the DRS though, Jeroen looks like he was in no position to overtake. But who's that in front of us? Is that Bompier? Well, I hope Bompier gets out of the way before these guys catch up, because I don't... If Sahilu gets DRS, then I think that Nathan JB will be seriously peed off that. Because back markers can interfere in terms of the leaders, because obviously if Sahilu gets DRS, that'll help him protect himself against Nathan. So I think Sahilu, if he does get DRS, will be absolutely happy with Bompier, but I really hope that Bompier does not interfere with that battle. Sahilu needs to be in a second of DRS against Bompier, but I don't think he's close enough to make that DRS open, is he? No, he's not. So Bompier just pitted, and Bompier gets another penalty, exploiting all the track limits. He's going for the fast lap of the Grand Prix, is the Red Bull driver, as AJ gets ahead of Dari for P7. But this is the last lap of the Grand Prix as we head around the final corner we go. It looks like Sahilu will be under massive pressure, but he has stored a battery though. Will that help him in defence mode against Nathan JB? DRS is wide open, and Nathan JB is closer and closer now. Pulls the left-hand side as he takes the lead of the Grand Prix. No response there from Sahilu. He has been swamped by Nathan JB. But is there any more chance for Sahilu to get back at Nathan JB? Is it down towards turn 6? Can he get the run out of turn 4 and turn 5? And get him down towards the final corner, or turn 6, sorry. He gets a good run right now. Nathan goes defensive, and Sahilu there has to stab on the brakes as Nathan JB defends that. But one more possibility to overtake is down at turn 6. Will Sahilu go for a lunge like Russell did on Oscar Piastri? He's too far back to do so, but here comes Jeroen Visser around the outside. Can he make it a Ferrari 1-2? Let's see, gets a better exit. Nathan JB there under pressure, going down towards turn 7. Sahilu might have a chance on the outside, but he doesn't do so, has no grip. And now Jeroen Visser, still wheel to wheel. With Sahilu we go, through these high-speed corners. Jeroen Visser is open to P2. It's a Ferrari 1-2. The disappointment of Bahrain, double disaster for Ferrari after making contact and losing their end plates. They're in first and second. Can they make it like that towards the end of the Grand Prix? Is Jeroen in a position to overtake Nathan JB? He's too far behind, of course, isn't he? Finally, something goes Ferrari's way. The disappointment of Bahrain turns into a double glory here in Qatar as we head towards the final corner. Nathan JB and Jeroen Visser will see the checkered flag as they both come across the line to make it a Ferrari 1-2. What a fantastic race for both Ferraris as Sahilu is in P3 ahead. Kenny gets up to P4 ahead of Glowstick and Den Dave. What a fantastic race from both Ferraris. Incredible stuff indeed. I thought Jeroen Visser's strategy wouldn't work, but I think the mini compound tyres actually worked towards the end, didn't they? Incredible stuff indeed from both of them. They should be happy about that one because both of them had troubles, didn't they, in Bahrain with the front wing damage they had, crashed into each other in turn 7. And also, Jeroen Visser, who had struggles on the all mini compound tyres in Bahrain. Nathan JB went from being absolutely annoyed with Jeroen to loving him again as Ferrari 1-2. And that ends off the double race here around Qatar and Bahrain. Both races of Qatar and Bahrain have been absolutely amazing. And also, I think in league racing, Qatar and Bahrain. As Nathan JB, though, is still reporting Jeroen. So I think Nathan there still has a grudge against the Dutchman. But I dare say Jeroen did Nathan a favour because he helped the guys behind, didn't he? Of Den Dave and Glowstick who was catching up. Jeroen, I think, helped Nathan. I really hope Nathan doesn't report him because there's no point really reporting Jeroen because he basically in Bahrain he finished nowhere. There's no point adding salt to the wounds, even though he was absolutely nowhere in Bahrain because it's like kicking a dead horse really for Bahrain. But ahead, look at that, Nathan JB stands on top of the podium once again here in CRL. As Jeroen Visser looks on to see Nathan lift off the trophy. As they all three of them spray the champagne here in Qatar. Sahilu basically had no chance, did he, against both Ferraris, but a valiant effort though. But Nathan JB then wins from Jeroen Visser from P15 to P3. Finishes in second place. Sahilu in P2. ILC Kenny, what a fantastic drive from the Finn in P4 ahead of Glowstick, who had penalties. So did Den Dave. ILC Leroy P7 ahead of Dari. Jeroen in P9 ahead of Jeroen. Jeroen in P9 ahead of AJ. 3-4 in P11 ahead of Hobbsy. Bomb P13 ahead of Leon Henry. Are those two who DNF'd in the Grand Prix. And I'll see you all then for the next race at the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is next week for Division 2 on Monday. And, of course, the 1st of May on Thursday next week as well. Join us back for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It should be an interesting one. We'll see you all later. Goodbye for now.